Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, the earth is only 6,000 years. I now interpret the Bible completely and 100% literally, but only the King James translation for some reason. I am now a Christian fundamentalist, literalist, and Carta.
I don't know if I want to talk to you anymore, if that's the case. Or is that just a name and you don't really believe the things that are said in your name?
No, I don't believe in any of the things I said by my name. You know, the reason why is because I actually study the Bible, for one thing. Yeah. I don't just listen to Esther says about the Bible. And, shocker, I have a little thing called a Hebrew Bible that's only for the Jews. There's no New Testament connected to it. And it has the Hebrew side by side with the English. Yeah. And it's actually translated by Jewish rabbis who understand Hebrew. And coincidentally, their translations are a lot different than the ones that you get from the Christian Bible stores, and that's a huge shock to me somehow. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me the Bible wasn't written in American English?
No, not even English.
Wow.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
No, this Bible I have is so fucking cool. Like, I bought it like in 2000. I know it's already, I'm like going on a tangent already, but I bought it in 2005. Never read it. I've had it the whole time. I went and dusted that bad boy off a couple weeks ago for no apparent reason. I just started reading it. I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting to read this translation that's like almost completely different than like what I've read in the past.
Yeah. Good times. So today we are looking into a religious propaganda film that rips off another movie, sort of. Called Night at the Creation Museum. Yes. The short synopsis here for this short film, because this movie's only like 26 minutes long, but then like has like a 5-minute lecture from the star of the movie afterwards. So the short synopsis says it's Derric Daly's first night on the job at the Creation Museum. Ever since his mother died of cancer, he has been skeptical of God and science. His skepticism is about to come face to face with facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Quote unquote facts. No. Yeah. So this movie was directed by Rebecca Pike, who is known for directing this and Night at the Ark Encounter, the sequel.
That's right. We got to do that sometime. I saw that like a double. They showed that. I'm like, oh God.
There's actually 3 of these movies, but I can't find the third one. I can't find the third one anywhere online. But that one is that one. Something. Yeah. It's where is that one? I had it. It's Night. What is it? Oh shoot. Night at the Discovery Center. It was made like 4 or 5 years later, and it looks like it has a little bit bigger budget than the other ones because they actually have like it looks like CG dinosaurs in it and stuff. So
wow, not like and plus, too, the audio in this film was horrible. You could hear like hissing in the background for like half of it. I'm like,
I will give it to them. I'm not gonna be critical of the filmmaking itself because they did actually better for what they produced it with than I thought they would. This was shot in less than 24 hours on a phone.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
So, yeah, I mean, this wasn't like they had a big budget for it, but you think that, the whole creation, racket would be able to fund a better film. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that makes I don't want to poke fun.
Yeah, because my thing is like the stars aren't actors. I'm not going to be too critical of the acting or the production myself. I mean, you can be if you want to. There's a few things where I think the editing is horrible, but that's just my own little feelings on it. But so it was written by Eric Hovind, who's one of the stars of the film, Marianne Pike and Rebecca Pike, who I'm assuming are related in some way. Yes, and it stars Eric Hovind as Derric Daly, Tim Chaffey as Jim. So they changed Eric to Derric and Tim to Jim. But so this is like a Tim and Eric film then, right?
You might well be, yes.
Just different Tim and Eric.
It would be a totally different movie. I could see like a karaoke Casey and his brother talking about dinosaurs or something like that.
So and it also the third and only other human in this film is Danny Faulkner as himself, Dr. Danny Faulkner, who is actually an astrologist or astronomist, whatever. Which is the one that you actually? That's like not the one where they, not the one where they astronomy. Astronomist. I said astrologist at first, and I was like, astrology. That's the thing where they're like, oh, if you're a Virgo today, you might meet a beautiful woman or something. Yeah. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. So first, before we start here, I just wanted to say something about Eric Hovind's dad. His name is Kent Hovind, and he's a Christian fundamentalist apologist and young earth creationist ministry, focused on the denial of scientific theories in the fields of biology, geophysics, cosmology, in favor of literalist interpretation of the Genesis creation narrative of the Bible. So there is a series of episodes of Behind the Bastards about Kent Hovind, and I did not know that. I mean, I listened to these episodes on Robert Evans' Behind the Bastards, like last year or something. And I hadn't realized that this is the dad of the guy that stars in this movie until after I had watched the movie. So this guy's Kent Hovind is famous for many things, but one of the things is in 2001 he started Dinosaur Adventureland, a young Earth creationist theme park located behind Hovind's home in Pensacola, Florida, where dinosaurs and the Bible meet. It went bankrupt eventually. Also, like one of the other things is he got his degree in ministry and stuff from a place called Patriot University that is just a large trailer.
Wow.
The location of it looks like a large motorhome basically.
Yeah.
Or like trailer from a trailer park, maybe like a double or triple wide sort of thing.
So it's like a diploma mill, basically.
It's a diploma mill, basically, because when I remember the Behind the Bastards episodes, they said you could get degrees in like tons of things from there, and they would just send it to you. You never had to actually attend a class. So
that's awesome. And you said if there was someone named Pike last name Pike involved too?
Yeah, it's the two other writers and the director. The director was one of the writers, Rebecca Pike, and then Marianne Pike.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a Christian fundamentalist named Ted Pike. I don't know if it's just a coincidence that they have the same last name or not, but he was like a super like anti-Semitic one, so I don't know if they would associate with him or not, but he was like a big time minister back in the 80s. He had a bunch of like, propaganda films about Christianity and stuff in like the late 80s, early 90s and stuff. I'm not sure if it could just be a coincidence, but I didn't know if it was at all related.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put in the show notes if we learn more about the people or something like that.
Yeah. I'm looking up for any information. There's not much information on them except for that they like Rebecca Pike. All she did was these two movies, according to IMDb. But her sister, mom, cousin, whatever the other one is, Marianne Pike, she was a presenter on the Creation Today show from 2014 to 2016, 17 episodes. So yeah.
I'm gonna have so much fun talking about this, dude, because I've been studying religion and theology for like 22 years.
Yeah. But I also wanted to mention too, back to Kent Hovind really quick. He has had legal issues. In 2002, he was arrested for assault, battery, and burglary in an incident with the CSE, the Creation, Creation something, the organization that he created. The charges were dropped in December of that year, but he also, in September of that year, he was charged with failure to observe county zoning regulations for Dinosaur Adventureland, a misdemeanor. In April of 2006, the Dinosaur Adventureland buildings were closed by county officials, and the Florida Circuit Court found the owners in contempt, ordering fines of $500 for each day the buildings were used. Hovind argued that he did not need a permit due to the nature of the building, but after a 5-year court battle over the $50 building permit, on June 26, Hovind pleaded nolo contendere, whatever that means, as charged to 3 counts: constructing a building without a permit, refusing to sign a citation, and violating the county building code. Hovind paid fines totaling $675. But then he never pays taxes.
Oh, that's great.
So he ended up going to jail. I'm kind of fast forwarding. There's a lot of other legal things. He in 2006, the United States Tax Court found that Hovind was deficient in paying his federal income taxes in 1995 to 97, totaling in $520,099. Sentencing. Okay, and it looks like he served some time for mail fraud in 2015, and then in 2021 he was arrested in Alabama for allegedly throwing his estranged wife to the ground in October of 2020. So yeah, really good guy here.
Yeah, we got some good, wholesome Christian, people.
Family values that, and this is the dad. I'm not trying to blame Eric for anything that his dad did. I'm just saying that sometimes apples, but the thing is he took over his father's ministry. So,
yeah, very interesting.
So there's that. So this film, what's your initial reaction to the short film?
Just bafflement. Not bafflement like the satanic god, because I'm they're against that. The bafflement, like, I know they believe the stuff, but just like watching it, are just like so bizarre and weird, and like it was still kind of funny at the same time. I know they're not actors and stuff, but like the guy who played the security guard seemed like he was having a fun time filming the movie. And so I can give points for that. But just like the logic and arguments that the guy who's like his guide, I guess, or I don't know what you would call him, the dude who's like converting him to Christianity, is just, those theories are completely bizarre. Into that because they're theories I haven't even heard before. Like, I've studied religion that was like my thing for a really long time, was just read up on like different religions or different theories within different religions, and creationism one of them. And I don't remember reading stuff about what this guy was saying, unless I just forgot. Maybe, I don't know. But
there's a lot of so my first issue with the film is the fact that, okay, we start out and he's driving like a Camaro to work, and he's a down on his luck guy. How did he afford such a nice car?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, okay.
Camaro, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of nice car, but
it is not a car you would typically associate with a security guard. Maybe you find an odd one out, but I usually don't think of that kind of car, But
so also he's talking on the phone to his ex-wife or estranged wife or whatever, and he's saying, yeah, I'm working here at some kind of museum. Like, okay, I've had several jobs in my life, and never in my life did I not know what the place was that I was applying to work at.
Right.
I worked at Walmart. I didn't walk in, and one day when I started working, and be like, oh my gosh, they like sell food and stuff here. Like,
right.
No.
And a bunch of other shit, electronics and all that jazz, whatever. Actually, they do have jazz here. They got some jazz CDs, actually, and they got some punk rock and some too, though.
They might even have the movie All That Jazz. Who knows? It's kind of weird. And then he's one of the writers of the movie, and they start out the thing where he's like introducing them, and like Jim, the guy played by Tim, he goes and he says, where's your shield? And this guy's such a dumbass. Like he believes everything. Like, it's like, oh, okay, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, because you look like Captain America. The guy wrote into the script implying that he looks like Chris Evans.
Barely.
They're both white.
There's a tiny resemblance with the beard in his face, a little bit, but not like 2% or something.
It's like, have you ever like been introduced to somebody and then just said, hey, where's your shield? Or where's they're like, just like, if you see somebody and you think they look like somebody else, have you just like pointed that out right away? No, you don't do that when you first meet somebody. It's just such like the dialogue is so packed. But yeah, it is. But again, like they're not usual writers and actors and stuff, so it's fine. But yeah, that line was just, I'm like, what is he talking about? And then they kind of go off and say else. He's like, oh yeah, I get it or whatever. I'm like, no, you don't get it actually. And and then he's like obsessed with the fact that Tim is tall. Or Jim is tall, whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
Talking about like it's a big deal. Like he's not even that tall. I mean, yeah, he's tall, but it's not like a giant. Yeah, he's like don't step on any little kids when the guy was leaving. But first off, though, like he has this warning, and it's kind of creepy. Like, don't fall asleep. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. And he's like, he's like, yeah, I don't fall asleep. It's my job or whatever. And then it's like, basically saying, well, this, crazy things happened to the last guy. And it's just like, at that point, I'd leave. I would leave. Exactly. Because I would think someone's going to roofie me or something. It's going to be really bad. My question, though, is why would falling asleep have anything to do with like learning about creationism? Like, why couldn't you just learn that being awake? I don't know what the point of that was. It's like, I don't understand, because what it's implying then is it's like going an argument against creationism, because the whole argument is like everything's coming to life because the Bible's true. But then you're like, oh, by the way, it's just a dream. So then you're saying it's not true. Like, what?
And so yeah. So what else happens here after Jim leaves?
So he's just got like a few jobs to do. He's got to kind of just every couple hours just check all the doors, make sure no one's coming in or whatever. And then he takes a nap. Of course, he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I think is indicative of everything in this movie. It's semantics that try to explain something away, where he says that it's not sleeping because it's called a nap. It wouldn't be called a nap if it was sleeping. So that's pretty much so that's how they explain science in the Bible too. But yeah,
he's so pedantic about it. Technically, I was napping. A little bit of difference. No, not really. You're still sleeping. Anyway, so he goes to sleep, and in Dreamland, he encounters Jim again, and Jim basically just like converts, like just propagandizes him into creationism bit by bit, using painful, traumatic experiences, which is what they do, to then lure you in. Like, oh, this person, they lost their mother. Perfect. I can really now.
It's like it's like, so they got this like whole wall of like, it's got like 9/11 and then like kids starving in places and war and bombs and shit like all on the wall. And it says, what did it say? Something like, it wasn't supposed to be this way or something. And makes no sense. But it's like so the Dream Jim asks Dream Jim, because it's not really Jim. It's the it's like, it's kind of weird that the dude falls asleep at work and he's dreaming about a dude. But Eddie just met
like an hour ago.
Yeah. And so yeah, he's like telling him about like the like he's like you've probably experienced pain in your life and like some loss or something like that. And then it's like, that's just creepy.
But that's what they do. They does any kind of like ministering, like not even just religion, like just any ideology. They hone weak spots, in people, and they that's how they get them in. They're like, even like political cults, for no reason why I'm mentioning this, even political cults do that. They find insecurities that a person might have, like such as like becoming a racial minority over time, or having non-Christians being outbreeded by the other people. So they gotta fight. No reason why I mentioned any of this stuff, but like, it's not dog.
That only happens in people's dreams and nightmares, right?
Yeah, Dream Jim tells you all about it. So Dream Jim, even in his dream, Jim is like doing like a whole on like conversion thing, to get this guy to become a creationist. And so he's like making these dumbass arguments about like how, it wasn't supposed to be this way, but since Adam and Eve fucked up, I guess, then now everyone has got to suffer. Wow. Thank you for like just completely throwing them under the bus.
The thing I never understood about that is like, okay, so there's the original sin with Adam and Eve, but then didn't Jesus die for our sins?
Well, that's the thing I was thinking about. That's why that Christian doctrine it's always baffling to me, because it's like, in one sense, you needed Adam and Eve to do the original sin in the first place. So it's like, does that mean it's not a sin then, right? Because they had to do it in order for. So it's like, how is anyone in the wrong at this point if all of this was supposed to like be predestined from the very beginning, or even before the beginning, which is even weirder because, by the way, my son, I'm going to make all this shit happen for the specific reason of you getting crucified. It's just like, what? Why would you do that? I know it's a tangent, but I just finished the Book of Mormon, but the actual book, not the play or whatever. Just long ass book, 531 pages. Finally got through it. It was really getting boring towards the last.
Musical's a lot shorter.
What's that?
So the musical's a lot shorter.
It is. That book could have definitely been abridged. I'd say that book would have been fine being like 400 pages. Did not need to go on as long as it did, but whatever it did. It did go as long. But it was interesting because in the last few pages, it was talking about how you should not baptize babies or little children because they haven't done anything wrong. So I thought that was like, Mormons are emphatically against baptizing children because they're like, well, why would we do that? Because it makes no sense, because they haven't done anything wrong. I'm like, okay, I can actually get behind that. I kind of agree with that,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to the idea, I guess, of confirmation and like Catholicism. But like, I mean, you still get baptized, but you confirm, you basically confirm your baptism when you have your confirmation. So, but somehow when you have your confirmation, at the ripe old age of 7th grade or whatever you are in, when you do it, it's like, what the fuck?
Well, it's because by that point you can make your own decisions. You got your own moral compass. The whole point of baptizing a baby who's like 6 months old, you're implying that baby has like done something terrible within the first 6 months of life. Like, what could a baby have done during that time?
Yeah, it's so yeah, he tries to explain away the whole like, pain, and it's just like, it's like, yeah, no, it wasn't supposed to be that way. And then, Derric is like saying like, it's like, well, why would God let this happen and everything? It's just, yeah. Well, it's like, okay, so recently I had a similar feeling here, not a feeling, but like something I found very interesting, where whenever there's a school shooting or a church shooting or whatever, they always say thoughts and prayers. Mm-hmm. But there was recently a shooting where they were praying, they were in mass praying, and then people were shot. So shouldn't those prayers have stopped the shooting?
Yeah, thoughts and prayers for the people who were doing thoughts and prayers. It's one of those things where it's like, that's why I hate it when people say like, oh, God saved me. God, it's like, okay, but then you're finding that the other people were not saved by God. So were they being saved, or would God just do like a lottery and just happen to get to your name and you're like, oh, I guess I'll save that guy for whatever reason.
It's like when Donald Trump said he was saved to become president or whatever, but then that fireman was shot behind him. It's like, okay.
So the fireman had to sacrifice his life unknowing and unwillingly, by the way. Yeah. It wasn't like prepared to be a human sacrifice.
It's not. It's not like, I mean, I don't care what political view you are. It's not like you go to a political rally expecting to be shot, So it's like,
exactly. He went to cover his other people so they wouldn't get shot, and he got killed. Mm-hmm. And then Trump goes and kisses the fucking helmet during the Republican National. I'm not getting into that, but like But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but yeah, it's just kind of, I mean, I have, I have my own religious beliefs and stuff, but evangelical Christianity and this creationism stuff is just it's very authoritative and like, I'm right, you're wrong sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's like, it's all based on the faith. And it's like, and again, it's not even like faith. And if I keep circling back to, the Bible, the translation of the Bible went through so many different things. And it's one thing if you want to interpret the New Testament, in your way, whatever. But when you take the Hebrew Bible, that's not even the Christian's own text. It's the Jewish text. The Christians appropriate for themselves, but it's really not theirs to claim just by nature and logic. And the Jewish rabbis, they know their own language better than anyone else does. Well, of course, they're going to translate it in a different way. And it's just almost like a completely different world. Some of the things like for example, the 6 days thing, right? So some rabbis, like early on, like maybe like the really beginning days of Judaism, believed it was 6 24-hour days. But within just a matter of 100 years, maybe a couple thousand years, some of the rabbis were like, well, it's maybe like 6 eons or 6 eras. Not 6 literal days, it's like,
even if it was, that still doesn't negate everything in scientifically either. You know what I mean? It's just that happened after that. Yeah.
But there was like their attempt at science because that was before being super like huge or whatever. So that was their way of like trying to get to a point of understanding things in a not so literalistic or just like fantastical way of like 6 physical days. Because like the other thing too is like my problem with creationism. Now I'm going to go on my weird tangent. What they call Hassan's stunlock. This is going to be my stunlock here if you'll indulge me for a minute. So my issue with creationism is religion itself evolves. So like we're not even talking about evolution or evolution of all the species. We're talking about religion itself evolves over time. So there's a reason why in the earlier parts of the Bible, like Genesis through maybe some of the few other earlier books, like maybe going into like Exodus even, where it's God is like spoken as if almost like he's a human being, right? He's walking in the bushes. Adam and Eve know they can hear him walking, so he's got feet now. And he needed a rest after 6 days. Did all this labor. God needs to rest because he's God and he loses energy, and he needs to rest to recuperate his energy because he's God. And he needs to rest. What? And so like, and that's not to make fun of them, because as you read the Bible over time, God becomes less anthropomorphic and he becomes more as like a symbolic, like an invisible being, someone who's all powerful. He's the only God. He's the God of all creation, etc. And the reason why is because the Jewish religion, before it was even called Judaism at that time, there wasn't even a name back then. It was just called like Israelite or maybe Israelitism or whatever. Their ideas of God and religion evolved over time. So if religion itself evolves over time, but yet we can't talk about the world itself evolving. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like if you could clearly see how the views of God change throughout the Old Testament, what Christians called the Old Testament, what Jews called the Tanakh. And like God has feet, he's walking around. He likes the smell of burnt offerings, so you gotta kill a sheep.
I have a question though. Are they human feet or are they ape feet?
Well, that's a good question. A very good question. And by the way, the serpent is never ever said to be a snake in the Bible. Never. Yeah. That's never mentioned as a snake. It could be anything. I mean, any serpent could have been like a whatever. I don't know, something like lizard of some kind. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a super or not, but
I'm not sure.
So like. In like the Bible is talking about God, he needs sacrifices. He needs someone to kill a goat or a sheep or a lamb, burn it on an altar, and then God, quote, enjoys the smell, the scent. Well, wait a minute. Scent doesn't really go that high up into the air, does it? I mean, at a certain point, it dissipates, right? So are they saying that God is like physically kind of close to the ground, so he can sniff the burnt, goats and sheeps and lambs or whatever? But then later on in the Bible, then it's talking about how God doesn't want sacrifice. He doesn't need that stuff, and so he never needed it. And so it's like, so that at that point, the religion had evolved to the point of like they're saying like God doesn't. Well, why would I need to smell the burnt flesh of goats? You know what I mean? Like whatever. But like at that time, that was like a primitive form of like monotheism among not the Jews. They were called the Israelites back then. I know that's my son like, but I'm just saying like, yeah.
I was just going to say that what is the difference between a snake and a serpent? A snake and a serpent are both reptiles, but there are some subtle differences between the two terms. In general, the term snake refers to any elongated, legless reptile, while serpent typically refers to a snake with a mythical or symbolic connotation. So serpent is basically a mythological name for snake.
So it's like a super snake then, basically, or like
it's just like it's just kind of like a when you're talking in mythology or like in the Bible, you'd call it a serpent, but if I see a snake on the ground, it's a snake.
Well, maybe it was kind of a real, like a cobra.
They're kind of like interchangeable words. Snakes and serpents are often used interchangeably to describe a long legless reptile. While these terms are similar, there are key characteristics that set them apart. In this section, I'm reading some kind of like big thing. There's like snakes and serpents exhibit different behaviors and modes of locomotion. Snakes are known for their slithery movement, using their scales and muscles to propel themselves forward. They can move in both linear and serpentine patterns. Snakes also display a wide range of behaviors, including hunting, burrowing, and something else that I can't pronounce. And serpents, on the other hand, are often associated with mythological or religious symbolism. So and do not have defined behaviors or modes of locomotion in the same way biological snakes have. So In
other words, the Bible is literally saying it's a mythological figure within the text itself. So it's not meant to be literally within the first pages of the Bible.
It's a reptilic figure, but it's like kind of like in snake-like. It doesn't have arms or legs, but it's basically a snake. But it doesn't adhere to the laws of science, I guess.
Right. It's just interesting. And by the way, the Bible never actually mentions the fruit as being an apple ever. Not one. Yeah. It's actually like a pomegranate. Some people think this is actually that. Doesn't really matter, but it's interesting. And
I like to think that it's a kumquat, just because I like saying kumquat.
I don't like that.
I hate that word.
I don't like it, but anyway, so that's the reason why we have wars, is because Adam and Eve ate some fruit that God told not to eat for whatever reason. Yeah. But they needed to eat the fruit because the only way Jesus could come to save people from their sins is if they ate the fruit.
That's the only way you can kumquat.
Yeah. So if they didn't eat the fruit, we wouldn't have Jesus, which is bad because we need Jesus. So if anything, Adam and Eve did not commit a sin. They actually did a good thing because they set in motion the thing that had to happen. So by definition, they're not sinning. Anyway,
it's the inciting incident of the story of humanity.
Right. And so we get into this weird shit now where he's saying that dinosaurs were living around the same time as human beings. And his logic for that is, you don't need millions of years to create a fossil. So therefore, dinosaurs with humans. Like, that's his argument. It's like, okay.
The thing I found funny too, like in the original thing where he was talking about about like how, you know, bad things happen. And like, so Derric's like, you know, animals have been fighting with each other since the beginning of time, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you're talking about evolution. Like, no, he wasn't. He just said animals have been fighting since the beginning of time. He said nothing about evolution. And Jim is just like, hey,
like, here's my way to lead into my creationism propaganda. Yeah, he didn't even write that script well because he said nothing about. I mean, I do have there is an interesting theory among like mystics and stuff, like people like Gnostics and stuff like that, where they did believe that like something wrong happened within the universe, like some like distortion happened, which then created the mechanism for like things to become violent and like the need for animals basically to kill other animals to eat. In other words, so like God's or the creator's original plan or whatever wasn't meant for like deaths and destruction to happen.
Well, there's the whole Cain and Abel thing.
Well, there's that too. Cain kill his brother because God was mad. He was mad because God, how do I frame this? So Cain just kind of threw a bunch of shit together, and that was like his offering to God. And then Abel actually took great care in what he was going to offer God. Again, why does God do things? But that's the whole, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. I can redeliberate that. And Cain was like, oh, well, he thought it was like, if anything, Cain was like the literalist here in this exchange. Yeah. And Abel was like, so if anything, the Bible's already making a critique against literalism, because Cain's mind was, oh, well, it was because Abel gave you this and I only gave you that. And God's like, no, it's the intent behind it. You kind of just threw some shit together, like just, it wasn't because you put any kind of love and care to it. Like, if you know what I mean? So like he could have offered the same exact material that he offered, but with more spirit into it, more intent into it, and he didn't do that. And so that's why God didn't really thank him, whatever that much. And then he thanked Abel more, and then Cain got really furious with Abel because, he one-upped him or whatever, not even on purpose, but just that's what happened. But like some of the Gnostics and stuff did believe that like some kind of tear within the universe or some kind of distortion occurred a long time ago. And then that set motion to all the horrible things that happen, on Earth, basically all the violence and stuff, like even animals who have to kill in order to eat. So it's not even like because they want to or because they love violence or whatever. It's literally something that's in part like ingrained as their own like DNA, their nature or whatever. Yeah. And like how that was not actually supposed to be like the original plan of creation. Mm-hmm. My opinion, like a lot cooler explanation than this, It's
the fact that people like evolution. So then we go into this idea where they're talking about this. They see there's a statue of Lucy, the supposed what everybody called the missing link, but it was actually not a missing link. It was never called that really per se, but people in pop culture called it that. But it was actually a link between us and apes. Like it was kind of a link, but it's not the missing link. But anyways, we're gonna just to be clear. But so we're seeing the monkey, and he's just trying to prove that, the monkey is often shown with human feet in like models that they make of it. But actually later specimens actually had ape feet, inferring that it walked on all fours. But the feet found for that species had flat heels more suitable for bipedal walking. So it was evolutionary, where it was like one of the first animals to start walking bipedal. So right. It walked on fours and twos. So it's just bullshit. And then they try to explain it away with like, you can put whatever kind of hair or whatever you want on Lucy and make it look like whatever kind of ape you want it to look like, which is complete bullshit too, because there's so many different species within that same I don't know shit about biology, but same species of ape. There are different kinds within that. like different genus or whatever, So there's different things like that. But also he claims in the movie that apes do not have white in their eyes, which is easily proven if you go to a fucking zoo or look up an ape looking sideways on the internet. They do.
No, Mike. No, you're wrong. What happened was those people went to the zoo and then did eye coloring to prove the creationists wrong, because you ever heard the theory where they say that atheists planted dinosaur bones to make it look like dinosaurs had lived millions of years ago or something?
Yeah, but I mean, just Google ape or monkey looking sideways, and you'll see the white in their eyes. It's that easy. They just have they just have a larger center to their eyes or whatever, like iris or pupil or whatever. So yeah, it's just.
It's so obvious because our actual closest ancestor within the ape family are called the bonobos or bonobos. Yeah. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Bonobos.
And they have a whole social system going on, very akin to humans. I mean, obviously it's primitive because not human, but they got groups of friends they hang out with, they play games, they can talk a little bit.
They run the government of the country, and oh wait,
it's not really because her actually seems very friendly, so I don't think it's actually not. But you could actually communicate with them a lot easier. There's this guy, he's a polyglot. He does all these videos. He's really good at learning languages. That's just his brain, his superpower. And he learned the language of the bonobos. He went to one of those sanctuaries or whatever. Where they could just live and kind of hang out and stuff. And he was having full on conversations with them. And one of them freaked the fuck out because he was not expecting the guy to actually speak his language. And he ran away and then brought another one and then had that one listen. You would not see that other versions of apes. That kind of sociability doesn't really exist. I'm not saying they don't have social systems, but they do, but not to that kind of you know what I mean? Because it's kind of if someone said something, I'm oh, I'll be right back. I get my friend. I got to have him hear that. You know what I mean? You don't really see that. And
you don't see that. You don't see that in dogs or,
Right.
Yeah.
And so those are our immediate ape ancestors. You can sort of tell because they're more bipedal than the other ones. They're not as shrunken. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm kind of going on here, but I'm just saying it. I
was gonna say. So back to the movie.
It fits in with what we're saying because
it does. I was saying we're already almost twice as long as the movie.
I mean, that's true. Yes,
that's typical. But the what you call it? So he talks about the dinosaurs at one point and how they're, that you basically can create fossils in shorter amount of time than reality. So, and they're convinced that dinosaurs were created on the sixth day and lived alongside Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Okay. David Icke, we're going to do a video about him tomorrow. He now believes that Earth is only 20,000 years old. He's completely on the anti-evolution train now. But anyway, what I don't know shit about paleontology or biology. I'll be the first to.
I don't know shit about science, period. But anyways, I believe scientists over biblical scholars any day. But
right. So my confusion really is though about the dinosaur bone shit because if dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago, I don't know how long bones last, but that seems like a long time for bones to not just kind of shrivel up.
It's not their actual bones.
Okay, all right.
A fossil is it goes into the mud and the ground forms around it and then is replaced by some kind of sediment that creates kind of basically recreates the bones.
So it's like a pattern, when you sketch.
Sure in a lot of fossils it is. So I mean, it might be their bones and they do last that long. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. So.
But I was saying, I actually do legitimately have that question. It's not. I'm not going to convert over to creationism, but I do legitimately don't know how.
So they also talk about how the Earth is only 6,000 years old, and but Derric makes a point that if that were true, that no stars or galaxies should be visible beyond 6,000 light years.
Oh, yeah.
And so he gets snapped because Jim has these superpowers when he can snap people places. He gets snapped up onto a ladder into the like auditorium there. And there's like the scientist who is an actual scientist in real life that works at the museum, I guess.
Right.
Danny Faulkner. And so he tries to say that, so the astronomer tells him that a light year is a measure of distance and not time. So that's kind of true, but not really, because it is the length of time required for light to travel a year.
Right.
So it's not a logical argument at all.
No, it's not.
No realist, astronomer would say that unless they're bought into creationism, like Danny Faulkner. So, yeah.
And that's probably why he did the astronomy bit, because he's also an astronomist, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's an astronomer. I think he teaches astronomy and stuff too at places. I don't know. I don't know much about him, but yeah.
I mean, as long as he's teaching the correct curriculum despite his personal beliefs, I guess that's fine. But if he's like seeping that into his courses, that's a problem. You can have I mean, like the Muslim scientists from way back, back like when they were like just pretty much like doing all these different discoveries back like in the early 1000s or whatever. Like they still like had the beliefs of Islam, even though they were able to sort of like separate that.
Yeah, you can compartmentalize things and stuff. Yeah, I looked up his biography. Part of his biography on answersingenesis.org. Dr. Danny Faulkner holds a Master's of Science in Physics from Clemson University and a MA and PhD in astronomy from Indiana University. And he taught at the University of South Carolina, Lancaster for over 26 years. He has published over 100 papers in various journals. That's just the first paragraph. But yeah.
Dang, he got a PhD. God. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he obviously knows the stuff, but doesn't mean that beliefs are true.
Then in that scene, for some odd reason, Danny's not wearing shoes. And Derric asks him, he's like, I just don't like to wear shoes. Okay. What the fuck did that have to do with anything? And
that'd be funny, I guess.
And then he pulls out this like teddy bear that looks like it got run over by a truck or something. And he's just like, the teddy bear saying, wake up, Derric, wake up, Derric. And just like, what the fuck?
Oh, right. Yeah. I know. That was so.
Then he starts a slapping fight with the teddy bear.
And then like he wakes himself up, right? Or
that's later. That's later, because then he still that would have been the perfect time to have him wake up. And no, we got to have magical. We got to have magical Jim come back, or Dream Jim, or whatever. Yeah, and Dream Jim, and go ahead.
Did you mention the part yet about when you talked about the human zoo thing?
Oh yeah, no. I didn't yet. So earlier when they were talking about Lucy and stuff, they talk about how evolution somehow led to the fact that there were men, like African men put in cages and zoos right alongside of like monkeys and things. Which actually happened, because there was actually a man inside the Central Park Zoo in New York.
The human zoos, right? But it's weird because it seemed like an argument.
This wasn't even just a human zoo. This was in the regular zoo with animals.
Oh, okay.
So basically, because like a human zoo would be dedicated to humans. This was dedicated to animals. So they basically were putting black people on the same level as like apes and stuff.
That's not because of evolution, though.
No,
that's because
of racism.
But he's trying to say that, which is weird because again, we're talking about creationists. It's a very fundamentalist brand of Christianity. Those people, be real, tend to be on the more racist side of things just by statistics. So it's odd to see them doing an anti-racist argument against evolution, but then probably being pretty racist in their own lives.
Yeah, because they're somehow convinced that evolution that evolution created racism.
But yeah, it's okay. Sure. Yeah.
But these are the same people that probably believed in eugenics and phrenology and stuff like that. So yeah.
It's people do weird shit like that all the time. It's like anything that looks similar to something else, they just like associate with it, especially if they want to like make fun of someone. Like there's a tribe in Africa who saw a white person for the first time, they thought the guy was a ghost. Doesn't mean that, like ghosts, it just, your first thing when you see something, you're like, wait, what?
There were tribes in Africa when they saw white people too that thought that they were the ghosts of their dead relatives that had died recently and stuff like that. Yeah. So but anyways, the whole there's a lot of things that they quote in this movie too, or have quotes on the wall at the Creationist Museum, which I don't have any off the top of my head, but I watched some videos about this that they cut off the quotes halfway from like real scientists to prove their point. But if you continue the quote, it disproves their point. Right. So yeah. So that's what they're teaching people. They're not teaching the whole thing. It's like selective, quotes and stuff. Because I could say, I think that Pepsi is bad for you, but it's also tasty. If you just cut off the part where I say it's bad for you, then you'll say he doesn't like Pepsi. Right. You know what I mean? You can take part of a quote and make it sound like anything. But anyways, that was a bad example, but still, you know what I mean? So then we had like a scene where he's running around too, and there's like a dinosaur chasing him, which is just a guy in the suit. Yes. He's like freaking out. I will tell you, Eric Hovind does know how to freak out well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But yeah, what other scenes am I missing? Oh, there's the biblical archaeology scene too. Like they talk about that. Yeah. And they come up with this idea that the story of David and Goliath had to have happened because there was a piece of pottery with a name similar to Goliath on it.
Right.
So yeah. So basically, in my theory is, I found a book once with the name Luke in it. Okay. So that tells me that Star Wars really happened.
Of course it did.
Because there's somebody named Luke.
I mean, it says a long time ago, far, far, far away. So and Goliath just means like giant or something in Hebrew. So they just call it. It was a common name. Yeah, it's not like a big deal. Oh, whoa!
It's like my reason for proving that Donald Trump existed is because there was a cartoon about Donald Duck. There was no connection. They both have the same name. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid stuff like that. But eventually we get to the point where Dream Jim snaps him back to the desk where he's sleeping, and he's seeing himself sleeping, and he's just like, I gotta, wake myself up or whatever. And he's like slapping himself to wake himself up. But then Dream Jim says, but you got to do one thing first. Basically, he's forcing him. He says, you're not going to wake up until you believe everything I just told you.
Exactly. So it's like holding them conscious as a hostage.
So basically, I'm trying to figure out what happened with the last guard. Did he not choose to believe him and they roofied him or something? I'm confused. Like, what fucking happened?
It's like he's staying in Greenland like an Inception. You can't wake him up. Like he's just there.
Or did they turn him into like one of the statues of like Adam and Eve or something? I mean, what the fuck?
So the logic here is, since I invaded your dream for the past 7 hours or whatever, and then you didn't change your entire belief system in the last 3 hours of me telling you, guess what? You're going to stay asleep.
Yes.
Until I say so, until I approve of the sincerity of your conversion. It's kind of a bastard, man.
So there's a sequel where Derric comes back for another night at work, and he opens up this door, and there's a bunch of guards that just fall out of the door when he opens it up.
Whoa.
They're all just stuffed in there because none of them chose to believe in creationism.
That's awesome. That's great.
Derric's like, pushing him back in, and he's having problems closing the door, and it's like,
is that for real? Is that like an idea that you have? Like,
it's just an idea I have.
That's me. I was hoping it didn't actually do that in the movie. It's like, actually, no, I do hope. I wish they would do that.
That's how they get you. They frighten you to the point where it's like, I better believe in creationism, or Jim's gonna kill me.
Or maybe since he's so tall, maybe he planted the Goliath thing. Maybe he is the Goliath.
Yeah.
In this scenario that we've...
And Derric is Dave.
I swear to God, I both of them look familiar to me. I don't know if I've seen videos of them talking about creation before or something.
Both like creationist ministers and stuff. And I think Jim or Tim, the guy that plays Jim, he wrote all of the stuff, I guess, on the walls at the Creationist Museum or something. So yeah, I don't know. Tim, what is his name? Tim Chaffey.
Okay, Chaffey. Okay.
Tim Chaffey.
I mean, it's definitely.
I gotta look up who he is.
Yeah, I'll talk while you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll talk while you so we don't.
Oh, I got it.
Air with him.
Tim. I got it. Dr. Tim Chaffey is the content manager of the attractions division of Answers in Genesis. He is responsible for overseeing the development of content for the exhibits in the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum. He also writes articles for Answers in Genesis website. Tim can often be found giving presentations at the Ark Encounter or Creation Museum. He's also a regular co-host on Answers News. Yeah. So anyways, he basically is the guy that's writing all the shit on the stuff on the walls and stuff at the museum.
I was just thinking too, what a boring job that would be, man. Just alone, just making the rounds every couple hours. Then you do a few other things. What do you do after that? You just stare at a screen and just make sure coming in. You know what I mean?
I think Ryan Moore that we talked to does something similar to that at a factory or something, or a plant. I knew a guy that when I used to work at Blockbuster that was an overnight security guard at a nursing home, and all he did was sit at a desk, and they would walk the halls every so often. But the whole time he would come in before his shift started and rent movies, and then just watch movies all night on his laptop.
That's great.
Oh, yeah,
it's great. It's great, but at the same time, it's like you can only watch so many movies. You know what I mean? Without a break, you know what I mean? Anyways, Derric wakes up, and then we have the product placement portion of the movie where Jim takes him into the bookstore and gives him a DVD about Genesis in 3D, and then some book about dinosaurs for his kid. Right.
Yeah, which is basically product placement, being like, hey, if you come to the Creation Museum, you can buy these same books and DVDs as Derric.
But he said it was 10 years old. The book it was made for 5-year-olds. So it's we couldn't even get that part right.
Yeah. It's like, here's a picture book for your 10-year-old.
Right. What? Read, bro.
You like dinosaurs, right?
Speaking of which, my niece, she got this book from the library a few weeks ago. She hasn't read it, of course, but I want to start reading it. It's something to do with dragons or some fiction book. It actually looks really, really good. I'm probably gonna, because I was reading the book about Joe Biden, the original. Speaking of original sin, about how the Democrats pretty much just knew that Biden was not good for years and just completely hid it from everyone. And his inner circle pretty much just gaslit the entire nation. Anyway, which, does not at all lead to anything that we're currently experiencing in the country and world right now. But so I didn't have time to read the Dragon book, but I think it's still... Sorry. I might read the Dragon book now.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, so how do dragons have to do with Joe Biden?
Well, that's the connection. It's Dragon Biden. We got Dream Gem. We got Dragon Biden. So,
yes. They'll have a children's book version of the book you're reading, and they'll change everybody to dragons.
Well, already is a children's book. It's like a book meant for older kids, like 13, maybe 12. So it's not it's a young adult book. It's still for kids, but the story is surprisingly kind of deep for what the audience is.
So it'll be banned soon, I'm sure. Anyway, so the
sure, yeah.
Anyways, then the movie, Derric rides off in his way too expensive car and talking to his kid and saying, hey, I got a DVD and book for you, and it's like, oh, it's great. And then they also say that, oh, well, tomorrow night you can, Jim says to him, tomorrow night I might need your help over at the Ark Encounter.
Oh, God.
Setting up the sequel. So, yeah, which we will cover sometime in the near future. Yeah. My family have visited these places because they're evangelical, Christians to a point. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
they're always like, "Oh, it's so cruel, it's so great, it's so cool," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I kind of want to see the Ark because it looks cool, but I don't want to go there.
Don't get me wrong. This stuff is like a fun thing to like think about, like, you know, mythology wise of stuff, but like when you actually think it's real history, then it's just like because like you get the same thing like with the like Islamic stuff. So like, you know, when I first like got into Islam, this is way back in 2003, so maybe things have changed since then, but like I can't tell you how many articles and websites I went to where they're like, scientists found the human giant bones in Africa, which proves that humans used to be 50 feet tall or whatever. I'm like, you know what, you know, or like, you know, just like little like theories like that, like, or science proves blah blah blah, whatever. Like Neil Armstrong converted to Islam. That was a big thing I read, because when he went to the moon, he heard the call of prayer being recited by somewhere. So that proves that somewhere Islam exists in the universe. Like, okay. And then he's like, he had to like actually say, like, he actually had to come out himself and say, like, no, like I respect Muslims, but I did not convert to Islam when I went to Egypt, like, you know, whatever. Like,
and I mean the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter were started by this guy Ken Ham, who is like a like crazy guy. So he's like a Christian fundamentalist who, it's he believes like in biblical literalism and the creation narrative and everything. I think it was funny in the Behind the Bastards episodes about Kent Hovind, about Eric's dad. They basically referred to Hovind as the poor man's Ken Ham.
Sorry,
it's funny. So yeah, something like that. I can't remember exactly their words, but it was basically saying like he's basically the Temu version of Ken Ham. But yeah, so because he only had his little dinosaur amusement park in his backyard.
Right, exactly.
Not like this huge Ark Encounter and Creation Museum. So anyways, so anything else to say about this before we wrap things up here?
No, not really. Just look out for us doing the Ark episode sometime.
Yeah. We'll do that in the next few weeks here, folks. Hopefully and who knows, maybe even it'll be the next episode, depending on when we decide to release things. Because we, you know, a little bit inside baseball here, we do things out of order sometimes. So just letting you know. So, yeah.
Maybe we'll do a trilogy even, you know, just
if we can find the third one. Yeah.
That's right.
Jin's not in the third one, unfortunately. There's some other dream guy, I guess. So because the other museum isn't associated with these two. So
right, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have anything you want to tell us, be sure to go to all2real2.com. You can email us there, you know, comment on our videos and everything wherever they're located. We got links to everything, our social media, our TikTok, our Facebook, our Zimzams, and our, you know, our Goliath. That's our new social media thing that we created. It's called Goliath. Goliath's literalism, and it just talks about how Goliath existed, and the only thing you can talk about on that social media platform is Goliath. So nothing else. Yeah. No, that doesn't really exist. I wish it did.
Yeah.
But anyways, make sure you don't fall asleep, and go to our TeePublic. You can buy some stuff there. Help support the show. Go to our Patreon, another great way to support the show. Tell your friends about us. Go to the Creation Museum and just, you know, hand out little cards you print out with our website on it. I mean, that'll take a little bit out of you, but, you know, you should do it. And then tell them to listen to this episode. Anyways, folks, just remember that evolution is real. Trans lives are human lives. No human is illegal. Free Palestine. Fuck the oligarchy. Remember that I love you. Again, don't fall asleep. Sesame loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.
Want to see your brand on TV? Roku Ads Manager makes it easy to launch targeted ad campaigns in minutes, track results in real time, and even drive on-screen purchases with just a click of the Roku remote. Get started at advertising.roku.com/Spotify. That's advertising.roku.com/Spotify.
That's the sound of the fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron and the quiet confidence of ultra-smooth handling. The elevated interior reminds you this is more than an EV. This is electric performance redefined.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.